Most people spend their entire lives trying to get more. More money, more success, more validation, more love, more security, more of everything. And yet, despite getting more, the peace they are searching for never arrives. Buddha saw this pattern with perfect clarity, and his solution was not what anyone expected. He did not say, get more. He said, give up more. Specifically, give up these 5 things. And the moment you do, the peace you have been chasing your entire life will stop running from you and finally come home. The first thing you must give up is the need for approval. This one runs deeper than most people realize. From the moment you were born, you were wired to seek approval. From your parents, from your teachers, from your peers, from your partners, from strangers on the internet. The need for approval is not a personality flaw. It is a survival mechanism that got wildly out of control.
But Buddha was uncompromising on this point. He said, do not be dependent on the appreciation of others. Because the moment your peace depends on what other people think of you, you have handed the keys to your own happiness to people who were never qualified to hold them. Here is the brutal truth about seeking approval. The people whose approval you are most desperate for are themselves too busy seeking approval from others to ever give you the kind of consistent validation you are looking for. It is an endless chain of people waiting to be seen, none of them truly seeing each other. The only approval that can give you lasting peace is your own. And that begins with doing the honest, uncomfortable work of defining your own values, and then living by them regardless of who is watching and regardless of who is clapping. The second thing you must give up is the obsession with the past. Buddha did not say, forget the past. He said, stop living in it. There is a profound difference. The past is a teacher. Consult it when you need to learn from it. But it is a terrible place to live. Every moment you spend replaying what happened, who said what, who did what you should have done differently, is a moment stolen from the only place where your life actually exists, right now. The past cannot be changed by the amount of attention you give it. But the present, this moment, can be transformed by the full quality of attention you bring to it. The third thing you must give up is the illusion that you can control other people. This one quietly destroys more peace and more relationships than almost anything else. You cannot control what people think about you. You cannot control how they treat you. You cannot control whether they stay or go, whether they keep their promises or break them, whether they see your worth or overlook it. Buddha said, you can only control 2 things, your effort and your response. Everything else is outside your domain. The moment you genuinely accept this, not intellectually, but in your bones, an enormous weight lifts, because you stop holding yourself responsible for outcomes that were never yours to control. The fourth thing you must give up is the constant comparison of your life to everyone else's. Buddha taught, each person's path is unique. Each person's timing is their own. Each person's definition of success, if it is authentic, looks different from every other. When you compare your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 20, you will always feel behind. When you compare your real life to someone else's curated highlight reel, you will always feel inadequate. Comparison is the mind's way of generating suffering from nothing. There was no problem, until comparison created one. Your life is not a competition. It is not a race. It is not a performance for an audience. It is yours, singular, unrepeatable, extraordinary in its own quiet way. The moment you stop measuring it against anyone else's, you will begin to see it clearly for the first time. And what you will see, when you finally look without the distorted lens of comparison, is a life that deserves far more appreciation than you have been giving it. The fifth thing you must give up, and this is the deepest one, is the resistance to change. Buddha built his entire philosophy on one foundational observation. Everything changes. Everything. Not some things, not most things. Everything. The body changes. Relationships change. Circumstances change. The version of you sitting here today is already different from the version that woke up this morning. Change is not the enemy of your peace. Resistance to change is. The thing you are holding on to so tightly right now, the relationship, the identity, the version of your life that used to exist, is already in the process of becoming something else. Fighting that process does not slow it down. It only makes the transition more painful. But when you soften your grip, when you open your hands, when you say, I trust that what is coming is as valid and as worthy as what is going, something remarkable happens. The change that terrified you begins to feel less like loss and more like evolution. Less like an ending and more like a beginning you have not yet understood. 5 things. The need for approval, living in the past, the illusion of control over others, constant comparison, resistance to change. Give these up, not all at once, not perfectly, but consistently, deliberately, one day at a time, and watch what happens to your peace. Watch it grow in the spaces where those 5 things used to live. Buddha did not promise a life without difficulty. He promised something better. A life where difficulty no longer has the power to destroy your peace. That promise is available to you, starting right now. Save this and come back to it on the days when you feel yourself holding on too tight. Share it with someone who is suffering from one of these 5. And subscribe to Tathagata Wisdom, because every day we bring you the wisdom that finally gives you permission to put down what was never yours to carry.